Start பண்ணலாமா? ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. We have completed the Vishnu Sahasranama, the text containing a series of 1000 namas on Bhagavan Vishnu. Having completed the Sahasranama, this last shloka which we saw in the previous class, Vanamali Gadisharangi Shanki Chakri Chanandaki Shriman Narayano Vishnuhu Vasudevo Bhirakshatu. This nama is a prayer, the final prayer where the Lord is meditated upon in a personal form and where the seeker is asking for protection. Technically, this nama is not part of the Mahabharata text, but it has been traditionally chanted as the 108th shloka, as the concluding prayer verse of the main text of Vishnu Sahasranama. Having completed the 108 shloka text of Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, we stand today at a very, very sacred threshold. You all have been very sincerely, with reverence and regularity, you have been attending the Sahasranama classes for the last 1.5 years, and you have all bathed in all the 1000 namas of Ishwara. Each nama of Bhagavan is like a wave in a huge, vast ocean of Ishwara's glory. Each and every nama was a step towards him, was a step towards worshipping him, and was a step towards knowing him. Every nama is a pada. Pada meaning a word. Padyate anena iti padaha. Meaning every pada is a means to understand Ishwara. Every pada. If we consider every nama that we have studied as merely just namas with which we call out to Ishwara, with which we address him, then it becomes his responsibility to respond to us. Because that is what we expect from him. We, considering him to be different from us, and if we call upon him to respond to us, then it becomes his responsibility to give his response to us by way of answering our prayer or the desire that we have in our mind with which we have called him, or for which we have called him. In that case, I remain as an artharthi bhakta alone. We have seen the meaning of these in the initial few classes of Vishnu Sahasranama, where one calls upon Ishwara on crisis is called an artha bhakta, and where one calls upon Ishwara not on crisis but to fulfill his desires, a business bhakta, is called an artharthi bhakta. So, where I only mean these namas to refer to his name, to call him, considering him to be somebody who is away from me and different from me, then he assumes that form and still blesses me with the desires with which I ask him or call him for. But where, having studied Vishnu Sahasranama, I call upon him, not merely looking for a response from him as a person different from me, but where I chant every nama, every pada, understanding its meaning, then the responsibility is on me. The responsibility lies with me to understand Ishwara with the help of these words, these namas. Then I become a Jignasu Bhakta. I become a seeker who has elevated from a mere sadhana of Ishwara Bhakti, Ishwara Aradhana to Ishwara Jnanam, a seeker of Ishwara Jnanam, a sadhaka who is qualified to receive the highest knowledge. Therefore, this text, Vishnu Sahasranama, is not merely a chant. It is in the form of a chant, but it is not merely a chant. It is, in fact, a pramanam, meaning a valid means of knowledge, where every word, every nama reveals the nature of the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth of this universe, being Bhagavan, who is not different from me in his Swarupa. We, having attended these classes for the last 1.5 years, have thus formally completed the attentive listening, I believe so, of the meaning of the 1000 namas. And now you all have gathered all these 1000 precious gems. Now you have these precious gems with you, the 1000 precious gems, which are nowhere in this universe. And like it is said that gathering flowers does not mean or is not the same as making a garland out of it. Similarly, you have to reflect upon these namas along with their meaning that you have gathered by studying through Bhashyakara's commentary, which we have seen in the classes. Upon every nama, you have to reflect and string these gems into a beautiful necklace of wisdom around your neck. Each one of you bear the responsibility of doing this. Never forget the core teaching with which we started this text of Vishnu Sahasranama, that there are 2 stages which one has to cross with regard to one's relationship with Ishwara, which is the only real relationship in the entire world. And those 2 stages are, the first stage is Ishwara Aradhanam, with which one qualifies, purifies his mind, gains the maturity and becomes fit to receive the next stage, which is Ishwara Jnanam. And every nama that we saw in Vishnu Sahasranama is nothing but a window to reach the infinite. When you chant the nama Vishwam, you reflect and understand that it refers to He who is the entire universe. When you say Vishnuhu, Sarvam Veveshti iti Vishnuhu, you understand that He is the one who is all pervading. And then when you chant namas like Purushaha, kshetrajnaha, sakshi. When you chant these namas, now these namas does not describe a Bhagavan who is distant from me. It describes namas like Vishwam and Vishnu who describe the Bhagavan who is the very substance of every bit of the world that I am experiencing at every moment. And the namas like Purushaha, Sakshi, Kshetrajnaha, when I chant, these are all not just namas about some deity. Who is the deity who is being addressed here? There is no deity sitting out there that I am calling out with these namas. These namas were in essence pointing out to the consciousness principle which is my own self. And he who is everything, he who is the entire universe, he who is both the material and the intelligent cause of the entire universe, and he who is Purushaha, Purishete iti Purushaha, Purayati iti Purushaha, all these meanings we have seen. Therefore, he is the one who is nothing but the innermost core of myself, who is not different from me. This is the whole teaching of the Veda. And this study is meant to simply collapse the distance between the notional distance between I and Ishwara, revealing the oneness that the Upanishads have revealed. Aham Brahma Asmi. Vishnu Sahasranama chant being a ritual which has been traditionally followed with a set of procedure that is done. You have the Anganyasa, Karanyasa, the Dhyanam, the meditation, and then the chanter begins to chant the Sahasranamas. A ritual is performed. Now there is a natural question that a seeker may have, that can arise in the mind of the seeker, any sincere seeker, as to what is the benefit that one gains out of chanting this Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. Our rishis do not keep us wondering as to what will be the result of chanting, what will be the benefit, what will be the phala or the fruit of chanting Vishnu Sahasranama. Now there is this palashruti that is given after every stotra in our tradition. In our stotra tradition, there is a palashruti that is given, the benefit of chanting that particular stotra. And following that tradition, Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra also has a wonderful set of palashruti. Now, this palashruti is a promise given by Shastra. Having said that, what happened? Having said that, there is, it is important to understand this palashruti correctly. Right? It is not like any guarantee given by any shopkeeper when you buy a product. It is like the law of gravity. When the object falls, when the object is dropped, it naturally falls. In the same way, when you immerse yourself, when the seeker immerses himself or herself in these namas, into the meaning of these namas and dwells on these namas, one is set to see transformations in his or her life. Where he immerses himself, he dwells upon these namas with utmost sincerity and bhakti. He is definite to see the results. And with this note, we will enter into the palashruti of Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. First shloka, please repeat once after me. Iti dham kirtaniyasya केशवस्य महात्मनः नाम्नां सहस्रं दिव्यानाम् अशेषेण प्रकीर्तितम्. Now this first shloka is a link between the Sahasranama Stotra, the 108 shlokas, and its palashruti. Iti. Iti means thus or in this manner. It means it is a pointer of conclusion. So it refers to, this word iti refers to everything that has come before it. That has come before, which is the entire set of 1000 namas, which are gloriously recounted. Idam. Idam means this. This referring to what? Refers to the text of Vishnu Sahasranama, the 108 shlokas, which is the subject matter referred to here. So when the Shastra says iti idam, it means this Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, which has thus been recited or heard. There is palan even when you just hear it, even when you listen to it. Then there is palan when you chant it, even without knowing the meaning, and when you chant and dwell upon the meaning that you have studied and understood, then the palan is the highest. One gets the maximum result. Now, iti idam, this Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, of whom is this stotra on? Kirtaniyasya. This stotra is of the one who is fit to be glorified, who is worthy of being glorified. Kirtaniyasya. Now in Vedanta, Kirtanam is not merely singing the praise of Ishwara, but it is said to be a spiritual sadhana itself. To glorify does not mean merely singing the praise, but it means to constantly dwell upon Bhagavan's Swarupa. And this dwelling upon Bhagavan's Swarupa, which means dwelling upon the knowledge one has gained through Guru Shastra. When this is done, what happens is it gradually removes all the obstacles that lie in the way of clarity and conviction in the knowledge that one has received. Therefore, it paves the way to an obstacle-free knowledge. Kirtaniyasyaha, praiseworthy, means the one who has to be or worthy of being meditated upon. And who is that who is Kirtaniyasya? Who is Kirtaniyaha? He is Keshavaha. And when we saw the meaning of Keshava as part of Vishnu Sahasranama, we saw that there are three meanings given by Shankara. Keshava means one who has beautiful black curly hair. The second meaning is the slayer of the demon called Keshi. And the third meaning we saw is one who is Brahma, one who is Vishnu, and one who is Shiva. One who is the creator, one who is the maintainer or the sustainer, and one who is the destroyer as well. The total cause of this universe. Jagatkaranam Brahma ityartaha. Jagatkaranam Brahma means the one who pervades, inheres the entire universe. And he is Mahatmanaha. Mahan Atma iti Mahatmanaha. The boundless self, the limitless self. He is not different from me, the Atma. My Swarupa, which is the consciousness principle. Divyanam Sahasram Namnam. Sahasram Namnam. Sahasram Namnam meaning of the 1000 names. What kind of namas were they? Divyanam Sahasram Namnam. They are very sacred. They are very sacred because They are capable of giving both drishta phala and adrishta phala. Therefore, because they are capable of giving both drishta phala and adrishta phala, Bhagavan, the nama of Bhagavan, which is Kirtaniyaha, is to be repeatedly dwelled, to be chanted repeatedly or to be dwelled on again and again. Prakirtitam, where it has been recited, how? Asheshena prakirtitam, without any omission, and or has been dwelled upon again and again. And what happens if this is done every day? Because it says again and again. No? So what happens if this is done every day? That is what is said in the next shloka. Ya idam shrunuyan nityam yaschapi parikirtayet na shubham prapnuyat kinchit somutreha cha manavaha. Now this second shloka talks of the glory of Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. It says when this is recited by a seeker every day, whoever recites this does not gain anything inauspicious, either here or hereafter. No inauspicious will come to him. Nothing inauspicious will come to him. Yaha manavaha, that human being, nityam idam shrunuyat, who constantly listens to this series of 1000 namas of Bhagavan Vishnu, the Sahasranama Stotra, constantly listens. Even mere listening will give phala. What to talk of chanting and dwelling upon the meaning of every nama. Yaha cha api idam prakirtayet, and who also glorifies this. Saha, that same person. Yaha manavaha, saha manavaha, that same person. Iha cha amutra cha, both here in this world and in the other worlds which he reaches after his demise. Kinchit ashubham na prapnuyat. He will not attain any ashubha, meaning any inauspiciousness. Kinchit, not even a little. Therefore, Vishnu Sahasranama serves this seeker, this chanter, or even this hearer. It serves him as a kavacham, as an armor against all the inauspiciousness. And it gives the assurance, that assurance is given here, that as he walks this path, he is protected against the onslaughts of all the pain, troubles and miseries in this world. Third shloka. Vedantago brahmanasyat kshatriyo vijayi bhavet vaishyo dhana samruddha syat shudra sukhamavapnuyat. While the previous shloka talks about or is for all the seekers irrespective of their Varna, irrespective of their Guna and Varna, this shloka gives the phala based on the Varna of the seeker. Now those days the kula of the person, the birth of the person and the role he had taken up in the society were alike. They were not different, were aligned, were one and the same. And also, in those days, people carried the mindset required for performing or discharging that particular role or a contribution in the society. The mindset that is required for performing those activities in the society. While in these days we see that there is a mismatch, it does not necessarily mean that every child born in the Brahmana clan becomes a Purohit. Right? And every child that is born in the Kshatriya clan becomes a soldier. Right? Therefore, while there is a mismatch that we see here, therefore we cannot take this to be attributed to either the or especially the kula of the person. Definitely it cannot refer to the kula. This is not based on the kula or the family of birth. We have to go by the guna, the varna based on guna and the varna based on karma alone, while we construct the meaning of this shloka. Brahmanaha Vedantagaha syat. Brahmanaha. There is one thumb rule which is said as far as the Shastras are concerned. Wherever Brahmana are glorified, it always refers to Guna Brahmana. It does not refer to a Kula Brahmana. It is not a Brahmana by birth. Because there is nothing to be glorified. What did he achieve by merely being born in a Brahmana family? There is nothing that you struggled or achieved to be born in that family, right? But where a person qualifies to be a Guna Brahmana, then there is a lot of effort and struggle and tapas that one has taken up. There is a lot of penance that one has taken up to achieve such a guna, to become a noble person in the society. Therefore, whenever Shastra glorifies Brahmana, it is attributed to the guna of the person, irrespective of the kula in which he is born. Alright, so here Brahmana refers to one who has studied the Vedanta Shastra, the Upanishad, the end portion of the Veda. Vedanta can be interpreted in two ways. Vedasya antaha, the end portion of the Veda. Or Vedanta can also be interpreted as the final conclusion of the Veda. It may come in the end portion, it may even come in the middle portion. But that is the final conclusion of the Veda. So such a Brahmana, the one who has sincerely, committedly studied the Shastras, those who have studied Mundaka Upanishad can attribute this Brahmana to Parikshya Lokan Karmachitan Brahmanaha Nirvedam Ayat. A Brahmana meaning a person who has qualified with Viveka Vairagya. Therefore, the primary lens here is the guna and not the jati or the birth. Such a Brahmanaha Vedantagaha syat. He attains the knowledge of Brahman. He becomes Brahmagyani. Because that is what he was giving his efforts for, right? He studied Vedanta. And he took all the efforts to purify himself and qualify himself as a sadhaka to be fit to receive the knowledge. Therefore, he reaches his goal. What is his goal? He becomes a Brahmavit. He attains Brahmajnanam. And the rest are based on the karma. Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet. Where one is a Kshatriya by karma. By his contribution or role in society, he is a soldier or a ruler or an administrator, he becomes victorious. Vaishyo Dana Samruddha Syat. And a Vaishya, a business person, becomes prosperous and wealthy. Shudraha Sukam Avapnuyat. A Shudra by karma, a person who serves the other three Varnas, attains happiness, the greatest happiness in his life. So, all these, the mode of speech, the mood of speech, says Brahmanaha Vedantagaha Syat, Kshatriyaha Vijayi Bhavet, Vaishyo Dana Samruddhaha Syat, Shudraha Sukam Avapnuyat. All these are in Vidiling. It means it orders, it is the order of Shastra. The Shashana, the order. You are ordained to receive the greatest. And that is how it is. In Tamil you say, Irka Kadavai, may you be. So, in that is the mood of, or the command in which, the commanding mood in which it is telling. Fourth shloka. Dharmarthi prapnuyat dharmam artharthi chartamapnuyat kamanavapnuyat kami prajarthi chapnuyat prajam. Here Shastra talks about the glory of Vishnu Sahasranama that explicitly connects the specific desires of a seeker with the fulfillment of their desires. And this is achieved with the grace of chanting these this divine set of 1000 namas of Ishwara. Dharmarthi prapnuyat dharmam. Dharmarthi means the desirer of dharma, the one who desires dharma. Here the meaning of dharma is punyam. The one who desires punyam attains punyam. Now this punyam may not merely refer to ritualistic deeds which are performed to gain punyam. Not that they are disqualified into this shloka. Definitely it includes them. But it can also be said to include the one who seeks the highest end through karma. The highest end that karma can give, the highest of the punyam that it can give, through the highest punyam, karma gives chitta shuddhi to that person. Chitta shuddhi is translated as mental fitness, qualification, mental purity, the inner maturity, the inner growth that is required for gaining the knowledge of Ishwara. And such a dharmarthi, what happens to him? What does he gain? Prapnuyat dharmam. He gains the punyam that he desires, the chitta shuddhi that he desires. Artharthi cha artam apnuyat. The one who desires wealth or security gains the object of his desire. Whatever he had desired in terms of wealth or security, he gains that. Kaman apnuyat kami. Kami is the one who is the desirer of pleasure or enjoyment. The one who desires pleasure or enjoyment is called kami, and he attains apnuyatu, or may he attain. This is also in Vidiling. He is ordained to attain what? Kaman, all the objects that he desires. Prajarthi chapnuyat prajam. Prajarthi cha apnuyat prajam. And those who desire children, may they be, or may he be, blessed with children. Therefore, yat bhavam tadeva bhavati. Thus, whatever legitimate desire, legitimate meaning in keeping with dharma, those desires that one has, there is a promise that is given by Shastra here. The assurance is given by Shastra that they will be fulfilled or they will be accomplished. Next. Bhaktiman yas sadhottaya शुचिस् शुचिस्तद्गतमानसः सहस्रं वासुदेवस्य नाम्नामेतत् प्रकीर्तयेत् यशः प्राप्नोति विपुलम् याति प्राधान्यमेव च अचलां श्रियमाप्नोति श्रेयः प्राप्नोत्यनुत्तमम् न भयं क्वचिदाप्नोति वीर्यं तेजश्च विन्दति भवत्यरोगो द्युतिमान् बलरूपगुणान्वितः. Now this 5, 6 and 7 shlokas, they are one group. Now if there is a question where every kami attains whatever he desires, now what about the brahmana that was spoken about in the 3rd shloka and the dharmarthi who was spoken about in the 4th shloka? Now they do not have any desire for worldly pursuits. They don't ask for or they don't wish for, desire for any of the worldly things. Now what will be their lot? What will happen to them? The worldly pursuits, the pleasures, the enjoyments have not been sought after by them. Now will they be deprived of those worldly pursuits because they have left out all of them? They have not asked for the worldly pursuit and they have rather asked for Bhagavan himself, the infinite himself. And they have gone behind Bhagavan. So will their life become very dry? Will their life become colorless, without any ruchi, without any enjoyment? Will it become like that? What happens to the seekers of the infinite with respect to their worldly life? Here the shlokas say, Yaha Bhaktiman, that person. Which person? The person who is endowed with bhakti, Bhaktiman. And not meaning any emotional, sentimental kind of any sentiment on Bhagavan, and not on Bhagavan as the one who is away from him or the one who is different from him, but a bhakti which is born out of complete and proper understanding of Ishwara. Ishwara as everything. What kind of Ishwara? Everything meaning the shloka says Vasudevaha. And we saw the meaning, we have already seen the meaning of the Nama Vasudevaha, which means Vasati Divyati iti Vasudevaha. Vasati, he is the one who is in the form of the existence of everything and being in this creation. He is the very existence of the entire universe. Vasati, Divyati, the one who is always effulgent or shining as the consciousness principle in every living being. Such an Ishwara who is the very existence and consciousness principle, without this foundational reverence, the very chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama becomes a very mechanical one. Now, having studied Vishnu Sahasranama, where one chants, There is this system of chanting Vishnu Sahasranama every day, but a lot of people follow this. While they keep chanting it every day in the morning, it becomes so mechanical that they start talking in between, they start attending calls in between. In fact, they even fight in between. And they resume the chanting. It is so mechanical. That should not happen to a student, a seeker who has gone through a proper systematic study of the namas. Here, the shloka says, Shastra says, Shuchihi, such a bhaktiman who remaining pure. He is Shuchi, meaning he remains pure. How pure? Both externally and internally. Externally, he remains pure because he bathes every day. He wears clean clothes. Internally pure, meaning the one who is free from all the mental turbulences because of likes and dislikes, free from raga dvesha. Sada uttaya. This person, because he is free from raga dvesha, he is a sattva guna predominant person, and he was always interested in knowledge and learning of the namas of Bhagavan and dwelling in Bhagavan, who is always interested in knowledge of Ishwara. Such a person, he is sada uttaya, meaning he always rises early, always rises in Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta is the time between morning 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. Where? In your place. Okay? In the place where you reside. Okay? So this is an indication of Sattva Guna. And this time of Brahma Muhurta is the most conducive time for any spiritual sadhana. Because if you had hit the bed early on the previous night, that you get at least sufficient 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, what happens is when you wake up, your mind is calm and it is free from laziness or being sleepy. There is no tamas. And because you have not got into any fast-paced activity, your mind has not gained rajas. Therefore, the mind is free from tamas and rajas, which means naturally it obtains in sattva. And therefore, this time is the most conducive time for any spiritual sadhana. And what does this person do? He is tadgata manasaha. He is endowed with a mind which is absorbed in Bhagavan, in him who is Vasudevaha. With a mind focused on Bhagavan, with a mind that is fixed on Bhagavan, meaning entertaining the thoughts of Bhagavan, directing the thoughts towards each and every nama that he has learnt in the Sahasranama Stotra, along with its meaning and the glory of Bhagavan. Vasudevasya Sahasram Namna Etat Prakirtayet. And the one who recites the 1000 namas of Vasudevaha. This sadhaka who gets up early in the morning, and what is not said here is obvious, because it is said that he is Shuchihi, meaning he is externally pure. Okay, he has completed all the brushing teeth and having bath and everything. And then he is also internally pure because he has struggled to cross over the turbulences of Ragadvesha. He has neutralized the Ragadvesha, and with the calm mind, he fixes mind on Bhagavan and chants the Sahasranama. Such a person, a person of such high discipline, what does he get? Yashaha vipulam prapnoti. He gains extensive fame, a fame that is vast and widespread and also enduring. A very, very dharmic reputation he gains. The fame that a person of integrity gains, a person of wisdom gains, a person of noble character gains. He gains such a fame. And it opens the doors of trust and respect on him in the society. This is a natural result of a pure mind which is purified with bhakti and the knowledge of Ishwara. because this reflects in the character, the behavior, and the conduct of that person in the society and in the family. Pradanyam evacha yati, and he attains preeminence and goes beyond mere fame, means he attains a position of leadership, a controllership, influence, and he gains importance, he gains pradanyam in the society. People start looking upon him for guidance, which is a result of his clarity of mind. This clarity is a result of his discrimination power, the Viveka Shakti that he has gathered, and which allows him to make clear and wise decisions and take on responsibility. Therefore, he is looked upon with a lot of reverence and respect. And what else he gains? Shriyam apnoti. He gains prosperity in wealth. And what kind of prosperity? Achalam shriyam apnoti. The prosperity which is stable, a wealth which is not subject to loss, a prosperity that is firm, a prosperity that is steadfast and unshaken. What a prosperity! Just see the promise that Shastram is giving. Now, does this mean Achalam Shriyam Apnoti? Does this mean that I gain infinite money by doing this? So I get up in the morning 4:30 a.m. and I sit and chant Vishnu Sahasranamam. Now, this does not mean infinite money. Then what does it mean? It means freedom from financial anxiety. It means the wisdom to use the wealth judiciously, rightly. The wisdom, the result of the wisdom that one has, which is contentment. I don't keep on asking for more endlessly. And a mental fortitude to face loss without being devastated by them. This inner stability with respect to all the material well-being is the real unwavering prosperity that one can get. Otherwise, even if a person who is the richest in the world, you take even the first top 10 rich people in the world, do they really enjoy this freedom from financial anxiety? No. They are always in a competition as to who will win over the other next year, who will be on the top next year. Nobody is free from anxiety. So what is the whole point of me winning infinite wealth or really that much of wealth? Right? More wealth has only brought in more insecurity in the mind of people. Therefore, what is that Achalam Shriyam? This is the real Achalam Shriyam. The inner stability is the real Achalam Shriyam. And Shastram says, Anuttamam Shreyaha Prapnoti. He attains that supreme good, the greatest, which is unsurpassed. Anuttamam, which is not surpassed. The ultimate spiritual good, which is nothing but moksha or liberation, which is the result of not mere chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama, but Atma Jnanam. Can be translated as the knowledge of Ishwara, the knowledge of the self, which is not different from Ishwara, and of which there is nothing higher. That is the highest that one can gain. And Shastram doesn't stop here. It says, Na kvachit bhayam apnoti. He does not have fear from anywhere. Because this fear is the root of all samsara. All samsara happens because of fear. And how does this samsara arise? It arises because of ignorance. Ignorance is the cause of samsara. And now where this person has crossed over the obstacle of ignorance through knowledge, he has gained knowledge of Ishwara or of the self, and he is also Tadgata Manasaha, that we have already seen. He is always dwelling in the knowledge that he has received, he has his mind fixed on Ishwara and is already free from any fear or anxiety. Therefore, all these fear or samsara do not affect him at all. And Viryam tejaha cha vindati. He obtains valor. What valor, what virya he obtains? He obtains mental strength. It doesn't talk about physical strength here. Valor meaning mental strength. And tejaha, the spiritual effulgence. Now, doesn't mean that, there will be a glow around you. There will be 100 watts light that is, always shining wherever you go. Doesn't mean that. Tejaha means intellectual clarity. A sattva predominant mind. A mind that is always calm. A wise mind which is always calm. A mind that is always clear. And arogaha dyutiman bala rupa guna anvitaha cha bhavati. Enough. So much it gives. He becomes a person free from diseases. And then he is dyutiman. Arogaha means one who is free from diseases. Dyutiman, he gains good appearance. And bala, he's endowed with strength. Rupa, with beauty. And guna anvitaha, with all good virtues. So, aroga anvitaha, and he is dyutiman, bala anvitaha, rupa anvitaha, guna anvitaha cha bhavati. 8th shloka. Rogarti muchyate rogat. Rogarto muchyate rogad. Bhaddo muchyeta bandhanat. Bhayan muchyeta bhitastu. Muchyeta panna apadaha. This is another powerful palashruti, a fourfold promise that is given by the Shastra here of being freed from specific and acute sufferings. Rogartaha rogat muchyate. One who is afflicted by disease is released from that disease. This disease can be physical disease or even a mental disease, a mental pain. He is freed from that. Baddaha bandhanat muchyate. The one who is bound is released from all bondages, all those situations from which he faces or because of which he faces oppression. Bitaha bhayat muchyate. Bitaha means the one who is terrified. He is bhayat muchyate. He is released from the grips of that which causes fear. Apannaha apadaha muchyate. And the one who has fallen into a very great calamity is released from that danger, from that disaster or that calamity or anything or any dukkha, any sorrow that is so, a crisis that is sudden and overwhelming and that even threatens my very existence, my very survival. He is released from that. Now, if we look into these, rogartaha rogat muchyate refers to all the adhyatmika obstacles, and baddhaha bandhat muchyate refers to all the adi bhautika obstacles. And the last two, bitaha bhayat muchyate and apannaha apadaha muchyate, these two refer to both Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika obstacles. I think we have seen the Tapatraya also earlier in the previous classes. Therefore, one is promised deliverance from all the worldly obstacles and destructions. Ninth shloka. Durgan yatitaratyashu Purushah Purushottamam Stuvannama Sahasrena Nityam Bhakti Samanvitaha. The previous shloka, the 8th shloka, spoke about deliverance from all the obstacles in this birth. Now this shloka promises ultimate deliverance, meaning deliverance from the very cycle of birth and death. Nityam Bhakti Samanvitaha Purushaha. That Purushaha, that human being who is Nityam Bhakti Samanvitaha, who is endowed with constant devotion on Bhagavan, and Purushottamam Stuvan Nama Sahasrena, and who is praising the Purushottama with his Sahasranama. Purushottama has to be constructed with the meaning given in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The meaning there is the consciousness principle which is not different from my own self. And that person who, that Purusha, how does he sing the Nama, Sahasranama of Purushottama? Stuvan, who always dwells upon the highest knowledge of oneness of Ishwara, which is gained through Guru Shastra, the oneness that is revealed by the Guru Shastra Upadesha, and he dwells upon this using the Nama Sahasra, which we have seen. We have already seen such namas, right, which reveal the oneness of Jiva and Ishwara, where he dwells upon the Nama. What happens? Asuhu Durgani Atitarati. He swiftly crosses over all the difficulties that occur in this pursuit. This is what this shloka promises. And there are some more promises that are given by the palashruti, which we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So the next class will be on our regular time, which is 5 to 6 a.m. Monday morning Indian Standard Time.